Welcome to another episode of Low Tech Garage, and today I have a good one for you folks. For those of you that have been longtime subscribers, you may have noticed that there has been equally a long time lurker in the garage. And I may have pointed it out a couple times, but honestly I have never introduced it. I've never told the story behind it. And today I thought this is the perfect time to do a proper introduction, share the story behind the car, give you a little walk around, what the plans are, because I'm gearing up to get stuck in so we can enjoy this one as much as the others. And if you're new to the channel, now's a good time to say, please consider subscribing. We are working our way up to 10,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate everyone's support. Without you guys following along, commenting, subscribing, liking, I really couldn't keep this thing going, and my goal is to continue to grow the channel and share content on all these cars with you. So that's cars like this one lurking here, that one lurking there, and this one behind me here as well. And let's not forget the other ones I have littered all over town as well that I'm sure you've seen on the channel and you've seen me working away on and sharing how to fix and enjoy them on a budget. But for today's episode, we are finally introducing our 1991 Porsche 928 S4 right here. As you can see, I've got a few things underneath the lift for the Mustang. So I'm gonna have to clean some things up here, and we will bring the lift down and you will meet me with the car on the ground, and we can do a proper introduction, and I can share the story of this car with you, and equally why it's taken me so long to introduce it to everyone. And with that, why don't we rewind 2.5 years ago to the day that I was going with my brother to pick this car up, as this is the perfect beginning of the story. And then when we get back from that, I'll have the 928 on the ground and I can show you around.
All right, guys. So we've got something unique for everyone today. We are about 8:30 in the morning on Saturday, and we're just about to embark on a journey a little ways north of Low Tech secret headquarters here. But we're going to be picking up a vehicle that's going to be a surprise to you. So as you guys probably saw in the last video, we said farewell to the Vandenpla Jag, but that's because we had something new in the works. So yeah, like Josh said, we're on our way to go pick that up. So stay tuned, and I hope you guys like what we're getting. All right, and we've got the extended Low Tech gang with us today. And as you can probably tell, we're starting off with a car wash so that the good old Infiniti looks fresh on the journey. And figured it might make for an interesting time for you guys as well. So we're gonna get this thing started, and tag along. You get to see what we're getting.
See you guys in a little bit.
Alrighty guys, quick update here. We are just over halfway on our journey between Tampa and Lake City, which is where we're picking up the new car. And we just wanted to kind of check in. Traffic's been, moderate, random and unnecessary slowdowns, but hey, just ride it out, and we'll get there eventually. But it looks nice that the traffic is perhaps going to be in our favor on the way back, at least. So, that being said, I'm going to give you a couple of hints about the car that we're picking up, and we're going to see if you can guess it and how early you can guess it. No cheating and no jumping forward. So, hint number one, it has 4 seats. And I think we're going to leave it at just one hint per little check-in, right?
We can do one more.
All right, one more hint. Going easy on you guys.
It was made before the year 2000.
All right, there you go. So, 4-seater from before the year 2000. We'll check in with you guys soon, and we'll give you a couple more hints, and we'll see if you guys can guess it. Exit, so it's time for another quick check-in. So we got a couple more hints for you. So the first hint is that it is a two-door vehicle, and the second is that the vehicle has a transaxle. And it should start to give you some direction here, because that's obviously not super common. So probably got about 10 more minutes before we hop off on our exit here. And then we should be relatively close after that. And we're going to check in, and we're going to give you 2 more hints at our next check-in. And let's see if you can have figured it out by then. It should give you a pretty unique combination of elements to where you might be able to figure out what this thing is. So if you've already guessed it by now, good job. Because
and put it in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget to comment what you think it is. And also, if you do guess it, comment at what timestamp you figured it out as well. I'm very curious to see what everyone writes. All right, we're gonna check in with you guys in a minute. All right, final check-in, guys. We are off the highway. We're gonna give you the last 2 clues here before we go see this thing. So, the first of the last 2 clues, it
has pop-up headlights.
There you go. And the second of the last 2 clues, it has a separate rear AC. That's a very unique feature. Not many cars had that. So same deal. Let's hope you guys can put it all together and figure out what it is based off of those 6 hints. So again, running through it, 4 seats, 2 doors, transaxle, pop-up headlights, rear AC, and there's one that I missed. What was it? You can go back in the video and rewatch the one that I missed. There's one other thing, and I can't for the life of me remember it, but you guys will remember it because you just watched it. It's been some time since for us. So anyway, we are going to do the grand reveal here very shortly. So just a little bit more driving to go, and we're going to show you this thing, and I think you guys are really going to like it. Alright guys, this is it. This is the new 1991 Porsche 928. So anyone that guessed that out of the details we gave, good job. We're going to be showing you guys a bit of a walk around here and everything like that, but this is within the first mile we're putting on it. This car was meticulously maintained and extremely well taken care of by the previous owner, which was one of the things that drew our attention to it. And yeah, I guess we will be giving you some impressions from our drive back, but just wanted to give you a quick check-in right after we left with it. Alright, so we are on the road. We've made it onto the highway and are heading back. So far, car has performed flawlessly. Definitely effortless getting up onto the highway, makes plenty of power. It's pretty quiet, pretty comfortable. I really like the seats, honestly. That was something I noticed right when I got in, but they are bolstered really nicely. They're firm but comfortable, so really kind of a pleasant surprise there. Usually I'm used to kind of flying around in the seats because I'm pretty small, but actually this one's even able to hug me pretty well. So yeah, we've got a little bit ahead of us, a couple hours of driving, but I'm confident this thing's gonna just cruise through that with no issues. So we'll check in periodically and let you know how everything goes. journey back. Everything's going butter smooth so far. The car is driving amazingly, and it is really nice to ride in. We still got a little ways to go, but we just wanted to check in and say everything still functions great. Nice having working AC.
Working AC, super comfortable. Definitely a pleasure to drive, and you can definitely tell this thing was designed for like the autobahns. It's really kind of poised at speed, and yeah, it doesn't show its age. You'd never guess it's 30 years old, that's for sure.
Very cool. So yeah, things are going nice, so we're gonna just kind of stay with it, and yeah, I guess we have a basic reading on fuel economy as well. So for the time being, we're getting what, about 16 at about 80 miles an hour?
Yeah, it seems that like 16 to 17 is what we're getting. I don't know if that's normal, but it seems about right.
Yeah, and again, going 80, so I think it would be a little better, probably around 65 or 70, but you know, we're trying to make a decent time here because we got a bit of a journey ahead of us. So, but yeah, very cool so far. Lovely engine as well, like definitely smooth, and it seems to pull really nicely and pretty effortlessly. So, yeah. All right, well, we're gonna get back at it, and we'll check back in with you guys if anything else fun happens. We're also driving in convoy with Trish on the way back. She's shadowing us. Not that we think anything's going to go wrong with the car, but it just made sense to stay together. See the G37 hanging back there with us as well. Hi, Trish. Alright guys, we just pulled over. Had a little bit of an issue. The car was cruising along just fine, no issues, and then basically kind of stalled out on us while we were on the highway. So we hopped over, currently on the hard shoulder, and yeah, we checked everything and it seemed fine. We just let the car sit for a minute, and basically the car started back up. Initially when we tried to restart it, it was running a little bit rough, so we just let it sit and cool for a minute. The interesting thing is the temperature gauge was fine. We had no spike in temperature reading. So we do know that from the previous owner, I guess, there's a relay he mentioned that potentially could overheat, to do with the if you're running the AC on full while you're driving on the highway. All right, small update. So we let the car cool down, and again, we say cool down, the engine was fine, but potentially if it was the relay issue, we just kind of let it sit for a little bit to see if that would help anything. The car did run just fine for a few more minutes, but yet again, it did kind of stall out on us, and we're back on the side of the road. We chatted with the previous owner about a couple of potential things it could be. We're wondering if potentially it's actually got a pretty old battery in it. I know that some cars from this period were actually pretty sensitive to that. The Jags are notorious for that, so that's what we're basing some of this off of. You know, he had done a service on the charging system because that's what they thought was wrong. They replaced the alternator. We're wondering if perhaps it's actually the battery and not the alternator. So James right now is checking. So you can see what we're working with. We were checking the relay panel. This is in the passenger footwell here, and we did notice that some of these were significantly hot. We're not sure what the normal operation of them is, but we tried also flipping two of the relays, the one for the fuel pump and then one for something that's a little less important. I think it was something like the horn or something like that. So who knows, perhaps it could be one of those as well. So we're probably going to give this one more shot, and if we can get it to wake up and it's all happy, then we're good. If not, we'll probably end up towing it home and seeing if we can identify it from there. So we will catch up with you guys in a bit and let you know what happened.
So as I'm sure you can see, that was quite the adventure getting the car back. Things were a little choppy at the end because we were really focused on getting home safely. We lost the light, and we weren't exactly sure what was going on with the car. But fast forward to today, she's right there. Still got the Mustang. Where is it? Over here? There we go. She's right there, and we got the Viper lurking behind me here. It is awesome to have the three of these cars here, and I want to get in and show you more on the 928. So it took me a minute to shuffle all the stuff around that's in here. And admittedly, she is a little dusty from being under the cover for the best part of 2 years. But this is a 2-owner car. The previous owner to me had it for 27 years and purchased it with about 20,000 miles on it. So needless to say, it has been meticulously maintained, and it is extremely original. And I'm sure many of you guys know the story of the 928 and the fact that it was actually designed to sunset the 911 platform. And it was aimed at the American market, being front-engined with a V8 and a transaxle, and it was more of a luxury high-end GT car. And if I recall, this specific example cost somewhere close to $65,000 in 1991. And let me show you why. So as we open up the inside, you can really see the condition of the car. The seats are really, really great. You will see I have the side off here, and the radio is missing. When I got the car, the battery was not staying charged, and upon some investigation, basically the way the aftermarket head unit was wired was draining the battery. I'm sure we all know that this is extremely common on cars with aftermarket head units, especially when you don't know who wired them and maybe they weren't exactly sure what they were doing. So I have that out. You can see I have some of the carpet out, a few little things, but fundamentally, this is about the same as the day I purchased the car. And as we come over here, just again, look at the condition of the interior in this thing for being 30 years old. And honestly, that was one of the biggest selling points to me on this car. Honestly, as you can see around the shop, I love the dark blue and tan interior combination. It's my favorite by far. But when I looked at this 928, it was 100% original and in fantastic condition. It has served the test of time. The paint is all original. The interior is all original, and the owner was meticulous about mechanically maintaining it. And I know you guys saw that I had some mechanical issues on the way home, and upon some research, I have figured out what was going on with that. And when I pop the hood, I will share with you what the issue is. And really that has no representation of how the car's been maintained. It is basically a failure of a component that just gets bad over time. And unfortunately, it decided to get bad on our way home. But we'll look at that once I pop the hood, but I want to continue the tour of the car to show you more about the awesome 928 here. And the condition continues to be the same as we look at the doors. And I tell you what, I love some of the quirks and just uniqueness of this car. Obviously we have the side mounted AC vents, and then we have the armrest here, and I love that you can just push the button and it pops out. You have additional storage in here, and equally it moves the armrest in for people where that's more comfortable as well. We also love the 928 logo on the sill. And when we look in the back, again, next to perfect condition. I'd be surprised if many people have ever sat back here. And as you can see, in this area, we actually have the optional rear air conditioner, which is fully functional. AC works great in this car, and everything is next to perfect. And I'm sure anyone that has played with old Porsches realizes how important having a good condition interior is, because it gets expensive really, really fast if you have to go around replacing interior components, sourcing them, things like that. And the 928 is still exactly the same. If something's missing, broken, it's arguably harder to get parts for than a 911, and it is expensive. A piece that my 928 enthusiast will recognize right away is the condition of the dashboard. So we're down here in the South, and everyone knows that the dashboards on these cars are known for cracking, and this one is perfect condition. Thought I'd show you the driver's seat, and really the only wear at all is on the bolster. We have a little split here and some just minor wear from people getting in and out over the last 30 years. But I'm confident with some professional cleaning and repair, this can be restored to next to new condition without having to recover the seat. Really with the goal of preserving the originality and letting it be maintained for the future. And just another peek of the rear from the driver's side. And again, fantastic condition. So let's pop open the hood and let me show you what's lurking underneath. I'm sure my 928 fans already know, but for those that maybe don't know as much about the 928, I thought I would show you, give you some specs on it while I kind of talk you through it. And once we do that, I'll spend a few minutes and kind of tell you what the plans are for the car, what's in the pipeline, and what I want to do with it. And under the hood here, we have a 5-liter double overhead cam, water-cooled V8. As I'm sure you can tell by my channel, I love V8s and larger displacement engines, and this is one of the many reasons I love the 928. It kind of has that German muscle GT car feel that really falls in the series and category of cars that I just love. And it's a little bit dusty under here, but as you can see, it is completely original and it is not rusty. There's not much in the way of oil leaks at the top. It is just in good original shape. I'm sorry some of these are a little close up, but it is a little cramped in the shop these days. But you can see the original hood underlayment still there, perfect condition. Everything present and in good condition. And the really awesome thing about the 5-liter and the S4 is it makes nearly 320 horsepower. When we talk about the early 90s, that is some serious power. And the car weighs just over 3,300 pounds, which by modern standards is really light. And so this car really moves when you think about its age and the performance that it had in the late 80s and early 90s. And I have to say, with the light on the paint, look at that. I will say it needs a polish, and I might treat it to a ceramic coating just to really bring that luster back out in the paint. I did that on the Viper when I bought it, and it has stood the test of time being stored inside, and the car just looks fantastic all the time. So some of you may be wondering, what are my plans for the 928 and what happened on that drive home when we purchased it? Well, upon my research, it seems that the crank sensor is a little flaky, and especially here in Florida where we have a lot of heat in the summer, basically the heat soak on these old sensors, the signal breaks down and basically the sensor starts giving a bad reading and fundamentally the motor shuts off. And what we found is as the engine cooled down for 15 or 20 minutes, you could wake the car back up, you could run for another 15 minutes or so, and then you'd be right back in the same place. So I already have the crank sensor, but any 928 fans will know that it is buried right at the back of the motor. And upon my research and going through the service history of the car, I realized that although it has been meticulously maintained, it actually hasn't been driven too much in the last 10 years. And the cam belt is due, mainly just because of age. And anyone that has one of these knows that it is an interference engine and I do not want to risk damaging it over a failed cam belt. And then the final thing, my 928 fans will also know this, is the kind of 25-year service that is recommended. It involves replacing some fuel lines, a lot of the vacuum hoses under the intake manifold. It's really an intake manifold refurbishment. So you have to kind of take the top end of the engine off to do that. But for me, my plans with this car is to use it and use it quite frequently because it drives fantastically. But that being said, I want it to be reliable, and I certainly don't want to risk damaging anything mechanically on it after it's been looked after for so long, for the last 30 years. So let's talk timing. What are my plans? When are more videos gonna come on this? Now I've kind of figured out what I need to do and would like to do on the car. The plan is I want to get my Mustang finished, so you guys will be seeing more videos on that in the near future. I've been working behind the scenes on finalizing a lot of wiring on it because I had a bit of a electrical gremlin with the Holley Sniper EFI. I'm sure if people Google that, they will have an idea real fast of what I was dealing with, but I have overcome it, which is awesome. And so I just need to finalize the wiring, get that put away so that we can get the Mustang at least on the road, moving under its own power. I'm sure there'll be plenty of shakedown miles to do on it, but I want to have more working cars than broken cars for once. And then we're gonna get the 928 on the lift, but probably spun around, and I'm gonna tear the top end of the motor off. We're gonna rebuild the intake manifold, do that 25-year service. We're gonna put a new cam belt on it, go through any leaks it may have underneath, take care of all of that, make sure it is roadworthy, and we are going to enjoy it. I wanna take it to car shows, I wanna take it to events. Like I said, it drives awesome, and I just want to put miles on it because, like everyone knows with classic cars, the best thing to keep them reliable is use them. So thanks so much for watching today's video. I know it's something different, and I know that a lot of the longtime subscribers have seen this thing lurking in the background on the lift. Before I had the shop, it was hiding in a garage, and a few people have asked about it before, and I thought, you know what, we're getting close to getting stuck in on this. Let me introduce it. You saw the journey, how it got here, why it hasn't been touched that much over the last couple years, but now you know what I plan to do with it. I hope that my 928 enthusiasts out there can help me along the journey because I am not an expert with the Porsche kind of area. And I know that you guys have a huge amount of knowledge out there, and I would love your support, feedback. If there's suppliers of parts or places where I can get things, please share that in the comments below. I would really appreciate that. If there's any other while you're in there, while I'm doing this 25-year service, I would love to hear your input because, like I said, I want this thing to be mechanically sorted. We'll get the paint polished out so it just looks like it left the factory in 1991. I was just standing here and realized how cool this looks. We've got the fastback, we've got the Viper, and the 928 all in the house. And I cannot wait to be using all of these more in the future. So that's where we're gonna wrap today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are new to the channel and maybe you found your way here through the 928 or maybe through the Mustang or the Viper or the Jag content that I put out, please consider subscribing. It really helps me grow the channel. My goal is to continue to bring more of this content to you so you can come along with me on the journey of maintaining and enjoying these cars and really see what it takes to have a small collection of unique and very different cars. And I maintain them myself. And I share this with you because I want to share that you can do it yourself too. And I hope that my knowledge is useful for you and you can use these videos as reference in the future. So like I said, if you consider subscribing, it would help me out a bunch. If you have feedback or comments, drop them below. And any of the parts or things I find, I always leave them in the description below because I want to share that with you and I hope that you find it useful as well. So like I said, that's where we're gonna wrap it for today. There will be plenty more on the 928 coming very soon. but wanted to introduce it to you so you knew why it's been sitting here so long and what the plan is. So with that, until the next episode, I'll see you soon.